My name is Kwabna Chenche. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. In our first story, the Institute of Statistical, Economic and Social Research has bemoaned the quality of education in Ghana at all levels. Now, the latest report by the Institute on the state of the Ghanaian economy with focus on the state of education in Ghana states that quality of education has eroded at all levels despite improved access to education. Presenting the report, Director Officer Professor Felix Asante said the improved access to education has not commensurated with an increase in funding, a situation he believes has led to a decline in quality. Joseph Akable was at this very presentation, and in a bit he'll be joining us with those details. But away from that, let's shift our attention to some politics now. And the chief of Gumabudota in the Central Region has dismissed claims he's campaigning for NPP flag bearer Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, according to Nana Esonu Wusi III, all he did was to implore his townfolk to consider voting for the opposition NPP due to the many policy interventions they are proposing. Now, he believes the NPP will be a better option to the governing NDC. He made the comments during the tour of the NPP's running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in the town. Okay, right. In a bit, we'll bring to you that very sound clip of the chief, but let's now speak to regional correspondent Richard Kojo-Nyakun with more on this very story. So, Kojo, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Can you tell us really what this chief means by, well, he not campaigning for Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, but he imploring his subjects to consider voting for the NPP? Okay, it appears we do not have Richard Kojo-Nyakun on the line as well, so we can do a few more stories now. And voters in Subin constituency in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, have quizzed their political actors on ways to tackle corruption in the area. Representatives of 5 political parties met on a single platform to spell out their vision on dealing with specific areas of bribery. It was meant to provide alternative policy ideas to the electorate for informed decision on who to vote for in the upcoming December polls.
The Voter Education Forum was organized by a group of members of Grace Baptist Church in Kumasi, known as Forum for Christians Against Corruption. Extortion by police on the roads, alleged corruption in the basic education certificate examination, and the computer placement of students in second cycle schools, and intra-party vote buying were the areas of discussion. The electorate quizzed and demanded answers spanning the selected topics.
What are they going to bring to the table when they get to Parliament to make sure that the act of whistleblowing is safe?
Daniel Tieko of the PPP, Eugene Boachienchi NPP, Sulemana Seidu PNC, Owusu Abebio for NDC, and CPP's Leonard Kenneth Ezwa took part. They unveiled their plans to influence anti-corruption legislation when they have opportunity to represent Subing in Parliament. Eugene Boachienchi of the NPP suggested the computerized placement system be scrapped.
If you get the required grade, you should be allowed into your first choice school. But if you don't get it, your second choice should be made available for you. At first, those who passed their exams had their names displayed for all to see. Today, something called placement has replaced this. I wonder why selection of schools is done, if a computer will place you in a school after the exams.
PNC Sulemana Seidu.
The state should use other political parties. We are saying that the state should be very interested in investigating the background of the political party and ensure that the political party is really on the grassroots and so therefore should be supported. This will help do away with the proliferation of these so many political parties that we don't even know the number by now. It is time the state take interest in the formation of the political parties and make sure that those who are not supposed to be born are taken care of.
Organizers of the program want other churches to emulate them on the gesture. For Joy News, Prince Apia reporting.
Well, let's return to our previous story. And the Institute of Statistical, Economic and Social Research has bemoaned the quality of education in Ghana at all levels. Now, the latest reports by the Institute on the state of the Ghanaian economy with focus on the state of education in Ghana states that quality of education has eroded at all levels despite improved access to education. Presenting the report, Director of ISE, Professor Felix Asante, said the improved access to education has not commiserated with an increase in funding, a situation he believes has led to a decline in quality. Joseph Akable joins me now on phone with details. So, Akable, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Now, tell us more about these findings.
Well, Kwabena, so the point the research is making is the fact that for some years now, there has been an increase in enrollment across all levels. We are talking about the basic, we are talking about secondary, we are also talking about the tertiary level. The report also admits that in terms of funding, there has been an increase in funding. We are talking about an increase from some 1 million to about 5 million now. But the point they are making is that this increase does not reflect, it's not commensurate to the numbers in terms of the enrollment in these institutions. And when you pick the basic education level, the report relies on the early grade risk assessment. And the point it makes is that it was administered in 2013, and it states that majority of the people sampled were unable to read. Then again, it says that out of those sampled, most of them in the rural areas are more likely to score lower marks in reading alone. So that is it for the basic level in terms of the performance. Now, when you pick the secondary level, where it has also realized or it's seen an increase in enrollment of about 58%, it also states that the WASI performance has been on a decline, especially in mathematics and science. Since 2012, where the country's performance peaked, it has been on a decline for both courses since then. Now, come to the tertiary level, and the points that the researchers here are making, then again, is that the effect of the performance, that is the effect, the performance at the secondary level has had an effect on the performance at the tertiary level. So we are talking about 20% of schools producing 70% of persons who qualify to enter the university institutions across the country. The 20% of the schools, we are talking about endowed schools. So what it means is that majority of those who are in tertiary institutions or who qualify to attend tertiary institutions are just being produced by just 20% of the schools across the country. So it means that a good number of the schools are turning out students who are not able to gain admission to the tertiary education. And this they blame again to the performance in terms of maths and science at the secondary level.
Mr. Akable, many thanks for that update, and that's Joy News reporter Joseph Akable with details of that very story. You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News and on Multi TV. To some more stories now, and if you're one of the many who were disappointed with the suspension of test rides by the bus rapid transit system on Monday, well, worry no more, because the service is expected to resume tomorrow. That's the word of the Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, that's GAPTI, managers of the service. Now, managers of the service earlier suspended the 1-week test ride of some buses meant for the exercise on Monday following the identification of some anomalies. But Chief Executive of GAPTI, Samson Jamra, says the buses will be back on the road on Wednesday after the identified challenges are fixed later today.
Our bus system has certain attributes from the BRT that we are duplicating on the system, like the automated fare collection arrangements, like passenger information, and like CCTV cameras on board the bus in terms of security issues and incident management, etc. Now, these equipments have an IT infrastructure, and they are linked to our control room, which is in Achimota. And we have control staff and drivers who have been trained to be able to use this equipment on board the buses. We are simulating from Monday until Friday live operational arrangements to get our operational people to be on top of issues once we start commercial arrangements. And we also want to anticipate the kind of glitches that we should be expecting and should be preparing for. That is what the entire exercise is all about. I'm saying the interface, the human interface between the software and the back office are those things that we are addressing. The software is okay, it is running properly. Now we are letting the drivers do the keying of their logs again, and we see the realignment of their logs with the onboard to be sure that they have it right before we go back on the road tomorrow. We are still testing the operational readiness, and therefore there are other issues that may crop up that we have to deal with. Currently, we are retraining the drivers on the issues we found out yesterday during our exercise yesterday. The vehicles that we were using have been insured, we have insured both the vehicles and our equipment that we are using for these exercises. The vehicles have been insured. What has not been done was the completion of the DVLA registration. That is what has not been completed. The vehicles have been insured. We have the DV license plates.
But you do not have the full DVLA documents you need.
We are completing the documentation as soon as possible. You provide the insurance company with the details of the vehicles, and they provide you the cover. We gave them the vehicle chassis numbers, and they've identified which vehicles are going to be working, and they provided cover for those vehicles.
You're watching News Today here on your journey on Multi TV. To some other stories now. And the chief of Gomo Budota in the Central Region has dismissed claims he's campaigning for the NPP flag bearer Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, according to Nana Sonde Wusi III, all he's done so far is to implore his townfolk to consider voting for the opposition NPP due to the many policy interventions the party is proposing. Now, he believes the NPP will be a better option to the governing National Democratic Congress. And he made the comments during a tour of the NPP's running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, in the town.
He could have just chosen to pass by this town without coming to pay us a visit. For that, we thank him. We ask that the things he noticed were not good, he helps solve them. Asumaning hails from here. Both parents and relatives hail from here. We've named him Homeboy because he's one of us. We can't vote for another from somewhere else and not vote for him. This is not about politics. It's an advice I'm giving. I advise that all should vote for Asumaning and support Baumia as well as Nana Addo. We are assuring him that he has our votes. We will vote so he can join our leaders, whatever it takes. We are not going to promise you monies that we'll get for you later. It's your own monies, $1 million. Every year, you get these monies. This is not the District Assembly Common Fund that has been put aside. This is mainly for the purposes of the Coastal Development Fund to benefit all. The outboard motors in the past have not benefited us so much. We are going to take out the taxes being paid on the outboard motors and nets so that it becomes affordable for all of us to buy.
Well, my colleague Richie Kojo is on this beat. He joins me on phone now with some more. Kojo, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Now, tell us a lot more about what this chief has been saying. It appears he seems to be saying quite a number of things. What more has he been saying?
Well, according to the chief, they've tested life and the previous administration. And it is not wrong for him to advise his subjects that they should vote for the MPP. According to the chief, the constitution mandates that chiefs do not have to engage in active partisan politics. And if he advises the subject not to toe a particular line, he is not engaging in active partisan politics. According to him, there are so many things that the community is going through. The community has no good roads. The community has no potable water. Their school is in a deplorable state. So he cannot sit on the fence or sit aloof and then watch these things to happen. And they do have someone who comes from their community. That is the MPP parliamentary candidate. And so they feel that if the person comes from there, the person cannot do anything that will hurt that particular community. And so he is advising the residents to vote for the MPP come the December election. So that is basically what the chief has been saying.
Kojo, what has been the reaction, particularly from townfolk?
Well, as usual, he got some cheers, some claps from the people, especially the FPP folks that were around. They cheered him up as he said that one. But I have not seen any contrary reaction after he made this announcement, because it's as if it was really a comment that was made, and it was uniformly agreed by everybody that was there. So that was the reaction from that one.
All right. Richard Kojanyaku, many thanks for that update. And he's a correspondent. He's been monitoring that very story, and he brought us a lot more updates. You're still watching this today here on your Joy channel. Multi TV is also available on your Go TV channel 144 and your DSTV channel 412. We're taking a break. We'll return shortly with some more stories. Don't go anywhere. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. Now, to lose a loved one is tough, but to lose the breadwinner of your household at age 15 may be pretty hard on a young adolescent, and sometimes to a point where he or she is made to do much more than an average 15-year-old is expected to in order to survive. Now, that's the story of 22-year-old Zaidan Mustafa. Despite his challenging adolescent life, Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports on his success story after he defied the odds to become a software developer.
Actually, I had this idea ever since I was in primary school. You know, when my dad bought me my first laptop, you know, I was using this computer, and all what I ever thought of is like me creating something that I'm going to be the first person to create it in Africa. Like, my dream was, to learn how to program a robot, because like I like robots, so I was so much into robots, and I wanted to be the first guy in Africa to program a robot. So ever since then, I've been always thinking of me creating my own things, and so that the African people can also use it.
The browser is being designed in Ghana's colors to give it a national identity for present and potential users. Zaidan claims it is the fastest web browser that can operate on different computer systems.
What's so unique about this browser is that, you see, when you compare this browser to Google Chrome, Mozilla, you see, that browsers were built like they were built for highly powerful machines. Like, you can have Mozilla and Google Chrome on P4 and P3, but when you're talking about this browser, you can use it on Pentium 4, Pentium 3, and Core 2 Duo. You can use it on it. It's very fast. Like, it wouldn't give you problems, and like the bugs. This is the beta version, and I'm working to come up with the full version. So like, it has less bugs.
Though there were challenges at the developing stages, Zaidan says he was determined not to let himself down.
First of all, I needed to have a strong internet connection, and that was very hard because I can't get a strong internet connection. Daytime, I have to wait until it's 12 o'clock. So I have to sit all night from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I have to be on the computer, attending to classes and designing this software.
His aim is to develop software for the health and security sectors.
I wanted to come up with a software that is going to that is going to store the health history, health history, everything about patient information, like, it's going to be on it. So even if you go to the hospital and like, it will be very easy for the doctor to know your health history. Like, it will all be on the software, so the doctor will be able to track down your health history and your health background. And talking about the police the security sector, that's when it comes to criminal records, it's very poor. Like, I wanted to also create a software that is going to be able to stores, because when you go to a police station to record or to make a complaint, they don't type it on the system, they write it. So I want to create a database for them that is going to enable them to store it.
Zaidan Mustafa is just one of many other creative students who need some push to be able to build their future. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Now, research shows that in Ghana, 10 women die daily due to pregnancy-related issues or childbirth. 1 in 3 pregnancies are unplanned, resulting in unsafe abortion. Now, with women representing 44% of the workforce, it is imperative to ensure the lives of women are saved in the process. Now, as the nation marks Family Planning Week, health practitioners are intensifying campaign on the usage of family planning health practitioners at the Mamobi Clinic. Dr. Emmanuel Mbwalungu highlights the benefits of using family planning.
With regards to the emergency contraceptive pills, the recommendation by WHO right now on use of emergency contraception is that people can use emergency contraception as many times as they can. But however, there is a caveat there which says that if someone you have to use emergency contraceptive pills several times, then it's as good as for that person to go and use the normal contraceptive pills. So in essence, instead of using emergency, then in essence you can make out time to choose to use a normal method where you have the opportunity of benefiting from preventing pregnancy and also the other benefits that come along with it. However, the other thing with emergency contraceptive is that when the women use it repeatedly, their menstrual cycle may become irregular. And when the menstrual cycle becomes irregular, she may not know when her fertile period is truly in. And so sometimes when they use and stop and use and stop, then they find out that when they are actually fertile, they think they are not. And then they may end up getting pregnant. This is one of the things that is associated with it. So as much as possible, if you have to use the emergency contraception, then choose a regular method and use where you benefit from preventing pregnancy and then you benefit from other things that may be beneficial in the long time.
He ever warned women to desist from abusing emergency contraceptive pills.
That there are quite a number of advantages beyond just using it for contraception that people can benefit from. But a lot of time we don't emphasize on that, people don't know about it. For example, if a woman is on the contraceptive pills, her chances of being protected from ovarian cancer over 10 years period is about 90%. If you use it over 5 years, it protects you from ovarian cancer by 50%, and 1 year it's about 10%. Also, women who use it, if they have problem with their menstrual cycle, for example, if they bleed a lot, it will help regulate it. If their cycles are irregular, it can regularize it. And even with endometrial cancer, it's also protective against that. And those who have other kind of problem, like for example, colorectal cancer, it protects the women from it. Those who use it, if they have what we call polycystic ovarian disease, which sometimes affect fertility, it also protects against it.
You're still watching News Today here on your Journey channel Multi TV.